Don't scare Negroes today with no badge or no white skin or no white sheet or no white anything else. The police the same way. They put their club upside your head and then turn around and accuse you of attacking them. Every case of police brutality against a Negro follows the same pattern. They attack you, bust you all upside your mouth, and then take you to court and charge you with assault. What kind of democracy is that? What kind of freedom is that? What kind of social or political system is it when a black man has no voice in court, has nothing on his side other than what the white man chooses to give him? My brothers and sisters, we have to put a stop to this, and it will never be stopped until we stop it ourselves. They attack the victim, and then the criminal who attacked the victim accuses the victim of attacking him. Yes, sir. This is American justice. Yes, sir. That's right. This is American democracy. Yes, and those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Right. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. Right. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me. The white public thinks that the white policeman is justified. The police are able to use the press to make the white public think that 90% or 99% of the Negroes in the Negro community are criminals. And once the white public is convinced that most of the Negro community is a criminal element, then this automatically paves the way for the police to move into the Negro community, exercising Gestapo tactics, stopping any black man who is on the sidewalk, whether he is guilty or whether he is innocent, whether he is well-dressed or whether he is poorly dressed, whether he is educated or whether he is dumb, whether he's a Christian or whether he's a Muslim. As long as he is black and a member of the Negro community, the white public thinks that the white policeman is justified in going in there and trampling on that man's civil rights and on that man's human rights.
In view of the recent death of George Floyd at the knee of an officer, I felt it necessary to do this video to address a few points and observations, as well as recount some of my own experiences, which thankfully didn't result in my death. And I'm referring to a period of time just before I converted to Islam in 1989, when I was arrested alongside colleagues of mine and brutally treated by police, who then concocted a story to try and prove that my guilt in their eyes. Before going into that story though, there's one thing that I think we really need to be cognizant of as onlookers. In this social media and smartphone age, we are quick to whip out our phones and record every incident. That's good, but it shouldn't result in another individual's death. There needs to be more proactivity and in fact reaction from bystanders. Some will be filming, but others need to get involved. This officer and others who've used deadly force illegally against innocent parties need to be prevented from doing so. They need to be apprehended. Yes, it's risky. Yes, it may involve more harm to a wider number of people. But can any of us really stand comfortably by and witness the death of an innocent individual? That's for another wider discussion, I believe, because some will say you don't want to break the law, you can risk your own lives. I appreciate that. But just filming cannot be enough. It shouldn't be enough.
I'm hands in the air. I said, no, I just got shot. And I'm standing there, I'm like, sir, why did you shoot me? And his words to me, he said, I don't know.
I will refer to my own experience in the UK, which is not as severe and as devastating and deadly as what we've witnessed on numerous occasions in the States. But I want to raise this to show that there are existing parallels in how black people are treated at the hands of the police and, by extension, wider society apparatus. And I'm going to read from my case in which I sued the police after they had treated me similarly and taken me to court and tried to ruin my career in the legal profession and find me guilty of charges that I was innocent of. So I will read here the circumstances around this on this paper. On the 28th of August 1989, at or around 9 p.m, the plaintiff, me in this instance, was lawfully on board an eastbound Metropolitan Line London Underground train, travelling between Westbourne Park and Royal Oak stations, when he was wrongfully and without reasonable cause forcibly arrested by Dodrell and physically restrained by the said Dodrell, Halt and Webb. These were the three offending officers. The plaintiff, me, was pushed out of the train onto the platform of the said Royal Oak station, whereat he was further assaulted by police officers, including the said Dodrell, Halt and Webb. And then my claim goes on to explain the particulars and describe the particulars of the assault. The plaintiff was forced to the platform floor by the index finger of the plaintiff's left hand being bent backwards such that it became dislocated. At the same time, the plaintiff's head and neck were twisted. The plaintiff was handcuffed. While the plaintiff was face down on the platform floor, a police officer put his foot on the left side of the plaintiff's face. The plaintiff was taken in custody to Paddington Green Police Station. In the course of the journey, he was further assaulted. And I'm going to read from this so you can see that it's not just me recollecting my own thoughts, which I have vividly, but what was recorded for my case against the police. At the entrance to the said Royal Oak station, PC Holt said to the plaintiff, to me, "Wait until you get out of here, you will see what we are going to do with you." Whereupon he punched the door next to the plaintiff's head. On returning back down to the platform, because they took me up after they'd arrested me, handcuffed me, brought me back down again after dislocating my finger. Returning to the platform, waiting to board an empty train, PC Holt ripped the plaintiff's t-shirt, thereby exposing the right side of the plaintiff's back. So once they'd arrested me and pushed me onto the train, this is once the empty train had come on board, remember I was handcuffed behind, and he tore my black t-shirt and started spitting and spluttering down the backside on the right hand side of my back. While on board the train en route to Baker Street station, the said Dodrell, or Halt on this occasion, spat on the plaintiff. I was then detained in Paddington Green Police Station until the morning of the 30th of August, and I was charged with violent disorder and the Public Order Act. Now, we can go into more detail here. I've got the papers here. I've even got the statements of the police. I've retained them all these years, just for the point of reference, to show how orchestrated and organized these officers can try and be in order to criminalize innocent black men and women. Now, they didn't think I was going to resist everything they tried to throw at me. I was working in the legal profession at the time, purchased my second home, my wife was expecting. They effectively wanted to ruin my career. And the judge sympathized with their case, and held me to be the ringleader of my gang because I worked in the legal profession, so I must have been the mastermind. I was found guilty, given a suspended sentence. I had to pay compensation for an injury supposedly inflicted upon one of the officers who was out of work for a number of months. And my career looked like it was going to be in tatters. I subsequently appealed. We went to the higher court, the Crown Court, and the judge found in my favour because he saw the flaws, the lies in the evidence being proffered by the police and the Metropolitan Police Services themselves. The case was thrown out, I was exonerated, and I took my own action against the police. I'm bringing this because not everyone is fortunate enough to have the support that I had from family, friends, my employers, and those who've known me since I was growing up. Yes, we have a street culture. Yes, we behave in particular ways, but we should not be found guilty of things we have not done and are not guilty of. And you find that the police always want to exaggerate their case in order to convict. They always want to exaggerate their case to hide the brutality which they've inflicted against you. And if I was to read from these statements here, you'd hear the exaggerated statement that I was fighting, flailing, violent, injured someone permanently, they were in fear of their lives. And none of this was the case, and eyewitness evidence confirmed that. So as we look at the recent killing in America, and we will have that cry and rallying support around Black Lives Matter, we need to take into consideration another aspect. Black Lives Matter, but for the police force and the systemic racism that continues in Western societies, we are in effect a Black Lives Platter. It's open season. Pick whichever one you want of us. We come in different shades, sizes, and flavors. But I will conclude with this, what I started with in the beginning. We cannot continue to stand by and record. That's an aspect of establishing justice. We need to prevent those officers who physically kill innocent individuals. And if that means a citizen's arrest, we do it. If it means restraining an officer, we do it. Provided you're not putting yourself into harm's way and we have another fatality, a potential fatality on our hands. I know it's a difficult call, but what is happening now is not enough. We've seen this too many times. Something else needs to be done. We need to apply pressure, metaphorically speaking, and if need be, physically speaking, when we see such oppression being taken at the hands of, or the knee of, or the boot of the police.
Please, 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 I can't breathe. Please, man.
Relax.
Man, I can't breathe in my face. Just get up.
What do you want?
I can't breathe. Please, the knee in my neck. I can't breathe. Please. Please. Please, I can't breathe. Please, man.
Relax.
Man, I can't breathe in my face. Just get up.
What do you want?
I can't breathe. Please, the knee in my dick. I can't breathe.